Hello, my name is Yvonne. I'm the creator of the Facebook group JK Lifestyle and Travel. Today we're meeting with Tanqueray Hayward. She's a talented singer. I feel so blessed to have her here today and welcome her. Hi, how you
Hi,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. This is a sample of what this woman can do. It's Friday night, and I can't wait to get with you. I'm getting dressed so you can have the perfect view. And I must confess that I'm a mess, 'cause I know this ain't cool. I got a thing for you. That's just a sample. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been singing?
Sure, I've been singing since I was 5. I'm from Philadelphia, and I knew I wanted to be a singer at the age of 7. I wanted to be Whitney Houston. So,
Didn't we all at one time?
yeah, yeah. But the 7 is when I knew, like, I wanted to be a star. Mhm.
Did you used to sing in church?
I grew up singing in church. That's where I started. And I even still remember my first solo song. It was called He's Still Working on Me. And yeah, so church had a major part because, singing in the choir and you learn how to sit up straight and sing and, you learn all of those, types of things. And, but God has been very, like, just so deeply rooted in me. So originally, I just thought I would just, sing gospel. And when Whitney Houston did The Preacher's Wife, I was like, oh, yes, this is just great. This is just great. She got the gospel part, gospel songs and everything. But my mom, so even though I went to church with my grandparents, my mom didn't go to church, but she played a lot of like R&B. So that's where I got to love Earth, Wind and Fire, Shaka Khan, and all those great artists of the 70s and 80s. Like that's like the music I grew up on, Michael Jackson. So, it was like, you go to church and then you sing all the hymns and all that stuff. But then when I go home, I can listen to the other stuff. So I had a love and appreciate just for all kinds of music from that.
Mhm. I grew up singing in the church too. I don't sound like you, but I did sing in the church. And I know when you sing that gospel and you go into other genres of music, that that gospel is just you could just hear it because you have to sing from your gut. You have to sing uh you just have to sing from your gut and it's raw and it's natural. And I could just hear that gospel influence. And I think you could take that anywhere you want to go. You don't
Yeah,
just have to sing gospel.
yeah, it's been pretty interesting though because I do, from time to time I would get, some church folk that's like, oh, okay, you singing Aretha Franklin, huh? You doing this and doing that, and so I really had to woosah. But the way I see it, everybody needs encouragement. Everybody needs to be healed, whether it's at the church or at the restaurant or at the bar. So if I could just encourage one person wherever I'm at, I know I've done my deed for the day. Music heals, and music is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's just for one, same place.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am very cautious about what I sing. Like I'm very particular about the stuff that I sing. You would never see me twerking. You would never see me. There's just certain things you just won't see me do. It's just, part of me. But I just feel like, I need to share my gift everywhere and not just stay solely in the church. So, there's some people that, they, have their opinions about it, and that's fine.
I to me, I think you're bringing it with you. I think it's just coming right along with you because I could pick that up, and I'm sure people. It's not just me who would pick that up. That you have
All
that
the time.
gospel influence, and it's there, and
Mhm.
you're taking it with you. Um, what type of songs? What makes you pick out the type of songs that you do?
As far as what I've recorded or like just what I've done in the past?
Any type of song. What
Any type,
makes you
okay.
select that? What draws you to that particular song?
Okay, so before I recorded, I was doing a lot of just cover songs. And again, I usually stuck to a lot of 70s and 80s and early 90s music, stuff that I grew up on, stuff that I liked, stuff that was okay for me to do, because, there were certain songs that, I wasn't allowed to sing, and I really didn't have a desire. So especially like funk, like Shaka Khan, like I love Shaka Khan. And, again, early Aretha Franklin, I sing Stevie Wonder. So it's just a lot of those good, wholesome, just downright R&B tunes. But in regards to my stuff, because I actually like did not know like, okay, what is my voice going to sound like, because I love gospel, but I want to sing about love too. And I just like was at a standstill. Like I did not know what I was going to sound like. Um, and I've also learned that through singing cover songs, I know I'm not Shaka Khan. I know I am not Whitney Houston. And that I think helped me to propel and do even better because I'm not trying to sing it exactly like them. I put my own Tanqueray spin on it. And, it always works out. So I tend to pick music that I just gotta feel it. Like when I heard this thing, when I heard the track, I just closed my eyes and was just vibing with the music. And I said, I like this track. Now at the time, I didn't come up with the words yet, but I knew I liked the track and I knew I could do something with the track. You know,
Mm-hmm.
same thing for This Kind of Love. It was just, I just love that kind of old school vibe, a little funky vibe. And it's just basically whatever I'm just drawn to, that's just what I work with. And I didn't even think I was gonna be able to write a song, but lo and behold, so
You wrote this song?
being a producer, yep.
Songwriter too, singer, songwriter.
Yes, I can see that now. Mhm.
How many years have you been in this business?
I've been performing now for the past 6 years. So it's very interesting how I started. So of course, again, I knew when I was 7 I was going to be Whitney Houston. But as you get older, you hear people say stuff like, "Well, that's a 1 in a million chance. You need to go to college. You need to focus on a career. Blah blah blah." And at the time, my mom didn't know to like put me in like a music school or like any kind of programs or anything. So the only singing I did as a kid basically was church. And I mean, at the time I was okay with it. Like I wasn't really aware. I knew that there was a creative and performing arts school, but by the time I was in high school, I was focused on running track. So that was like my thing. And, I sing in church because that's what I do, as far as being part of the church. But my focus was on track. So I wasn't even thinking about singing at all. So it wasn't until 2013 I went to a birthday party. A friend of mine named Mr. Man Frisbee had a birthday party, and this particular birthday party was a jam session. So he invited Jaguar Wright, Lady Alma, a couple other Philly singers, and of course, had a nice big crowd. It was like over 150 people there. So all the singers sang one song. So he's like, "Tang, I want you to go. I want you to sing. I want you to be a part of this." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." And so since his name is Mr., I sang Mr. from The Color Purple when Suge Avery was in the juke joint,
Mm-hmm.
singing the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I sang, with the live band. And so it went over well. So, people are like, "Oh my God, who are you? You are awesome. You are great." So from there, then I networked and, kept in touch with the musicians that was there, other people. So people just started reaching out and saying, "Hey, why don't you come to this event? Why don't you come to this event? Why don't you come here? Why don't you come there?" So then um, there's a group called Mosaic Flow. They're a band from Philly, do a lot of great live music. And so they always get different vocalists. So the band leader, called me. And so I would sing like 2 or 3 songs. So this one particular event, there was a bass player that was the original bass player was out, so they had a replacement for that day. His name is Cedric Napoleon, and so he's one of the founding members of Pieces of a Dream. So he played the bass. So him and his wife approached me, and they said, well, hey, Cedric is doing a lot of things. We would love to have a vocalist, and we would love you. We love your vibe. We just, So I said, sure. So from there, that was then performing with him. That was the first time I ever performed at Warm Daddy's. So so it was pretty nice. So it was him in concert, and then I would come in, sing like two or three songs, and then when I was done, people was like, "That's it? Like you ain't doing no more?" And I'm like, "No, it's not my show," So maybe after about the third or fourth time that I've done that, I don't even know. I still don't even know to this day how the manager got my phone number, but she called me and said, look, we feel like you could do a weekend. This whole 2 and 3 song, no, people want more. You could do a whole weekend. So I'm like, oh my God, really? You think I could do a whole weekend? And then when I thought about it, I'm like, girl, you done so many church concerts. You could do this. You could do this, So February 2015, I headlined at Warm Daddy's for my first weekend. It was sold out. So, I had a lot of people come and support me. By that time, I knew musicians. So they came, they backed me up. It was just a wonderful experience. Now, prior to that, though, so technically, like my first event was down in Kelsey's in Atlantic City. He let me open up New Year's Eve. And so he was the one that gave me my first real big opportunity to perform live. And then I had the Warm Daddy's event after that. So then once that happened, then I pretty much was a staple at Warm Daddy's, performing every couple months or so. And up until now, well, before the pandemic, 3 years ago, I was there every Tuesday night. So people knew on Tuesday night, it was crab legs and Tanqueray. So they would come down, come visit, just being able to perform, it was great. And working with the musicians that I work with, the main musicians that I work with, they also play for Mesa from Incognito. So, so they're, pretty much touring with her, but then when they're not with her, they're hanging out in the city, they're hanging with me. So those guys have been a big influence because one, they're old school. So, these guys are older, as far as make sure you don't drink, don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that, so it was kind of a little annoying, but I understood.
They looked after you.
Yeah. And they also were the ones that was like, you know what? I think you sing this, try this. And it worked, so I learned a lot from those guys. So, even though they're just musicians, but they've traveled, they've seen a lot, and they, have a lot of faith in, they see the potential in me. So, I appreciate it. And they saw the gift that I had and they helped to cultivate it. And so last year, so moving forward to now, last year, the producer, his name is T.L. Scheider. He is the younger brother of Gary Scheider from Parliament Funkadelic, the one who would wear the diaper on stage. Yeah. So that's his younger brother. So, he's from Plainsfield, I believe. And so he reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey, I saw you perform at Warm Daddy's and I would love to work with you. So I'm kind of like, yeah, okay. Because, people always come up and always talking and, hey, I could do this and I could do that. I'm like, well, I'm here. And then nothing happened, so I was just like, okay. So he sent me music and I loved the music that he sent. It was great. I was like, okay, wow. Oh, this is nice. Disappeared. Just disappeared. I was like, okay, see, so now I'm going back to doing what I'm doing. And then finally, here we are a year later, he reached back out to me during May, during the pandemic, and he said, I got some stuff for you. So I'm like, okay. So then he sent more stuff. And then finally it was, I want us to get in the studio and get started. So I said, well, with the pandemic, because, I was performing 2 to 3 times a week. I said, I'm not performing now. I'm only working 20 hours a week. So I don't have the money. So I can't. He said, don't even worry about it. Just show up, So for 6 Sundays in a row, I would drive up to Perth Amboy, New Jersey on Sundays. And we would be there, from about 12 to 8 and, record. So this thing was the first track that we recorded. So because this was the first time we met, we were kind of clashing a little bit creatively, I may not know, I'm not professionally trained, so I don't know a lot of the lingo. I'm learning as I go along. But I know what I feel and I know what I hear. That I do know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fight for it. So if I feel like no, I no, then I'm adamant. So we finally got it together, and this thing was actually recorded in 2 days. Because again, we were just trying to, we were getting to know each other, so it was a little rough. It was a little rough. After that, though, once we did this thing, and then I knew how he operated, now we was able to knock one song out, whole song, writing, backgrounds, everything in 4 hours. So then there was even a time where I was able to get 2 songs done. So now we're on a flow.
How many songs have you worked on with him
So
in the
right now I have
studio?
about 6. I
Okay,
have
so
about
you almost enough to have an album or CD or.
Yes, so we're working on an album now, but even after the album is done, I'm just gonna continue to record. So just to have things. But yeah, we're definitely working on an album, so it should be out either February or March of next year.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to know, like, what type of places have you sang in besides the club that you were just telling us about? Have you sung other places also? I know church. I know the one that you were talking about. What are some of the other places?
Well, I've done, well, even like later today, I'm actually recording a song for a cancer event. The organization is called Brushes with Cancer. And this is where artists meet with either former survivors or people currently with cancer, and basically they are painting their story, or they're creating art through the eyes of the person. So basically sang a couple songs in between each of the artists, and also they're doing it virtual this year, so I'm going to perform one song. So I love doing all types of events that help people. Besides, singing anywhere else. I've been to New York a couple of times. So, and it's crazy because right before everything shut down, we were in New York. So I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we just missed it, because I got scared when they, started talking about the coronavirus and everything. And, New York was hit really hard, and I knew I was there
Mm-hmm.
not long before everything got shut down. So being in New York was great because, I know nobody there. So I really had to earn my keep there. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been there a couple times, and now I got a little fan base up there. So that, pretty cool to be able to travel a little bit. I've done some things in New Jersey, of course. Um, of course, Kelsey's, and then of course, a lot of private events, parties. So, pretty flexible with, doing things, and just, allowing people to just enjoy music and be happy. Weddings, I've done funerals, being able to help somebody or help take their family member to the next, to the next place, that's always an honor to know that, I'm there singing and just helping the family, in such a way that, that's just, you can't even describe it, because I know, when people, it's almost weird sometimes when people say, well, when I die, I want you to sing at my funeral. And I'm kind of like, okay. But, doing it, and sometimes I don't even have to know the person, I just get emotional, just on the simple fact that somebody's loved one is gone. But I love the fact that I can contribute in some way, shape, or form to make that a nice moment, for the family.
I think it's a, I think it's a comfort for the family. And I think it's something that touches their heart and their soul when you're singing. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're in demand to do that, why people want you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are some of the goals that you want to do in the future? Do you have any type
Oh,
of plans or things that you want to aspire to?
well, aspire to just be able to tour and travel all over the world. I want to be able to do that. I know there's people that's like, oh, I've been there, done that. Well, I want to be able to say I've been there and done that too. So I want to travel, have my music out and just continue to be able to perform. Like I want to just perform until God, takes the breath out of me. That's what I want to do. And then also just to be able to enjoy, just to enjoy life. And I have a daughter, so let her travel, see the world, and learn new things as well. So it's a journey for both of us. The interesting thing is, so I told you when I first started performing, it was 2013. I quit my full-time job in 2014. I worked at Pennsylvania Hospital. So I was working as a nursing aide. And so I quit that job. And then about 6 months after I quit that job, I found out I was going to be a mom. So I thought I was going to have to go back to work and just put everything on hold. But it was like God, just said, no, I got you and I got that baby. You're going to continue on. And like when I told you earlier, when it's for you, everything just comes into place. I mean, I'm working 20 hours a week, knowing I got this baby, and then I'm a single mom at that. So, it's hard. But thank God for just the village of people who would just drop money, bring diapers, just all, here's something for the baby, here's something for you. That is how I've been able to survive. My daughter is 5 now. I'm still working that 20-hour-a-week job, but of course I was performing, but I'm just thankful for, just for the village that I have to allow me to get to where I'm at this point now.
Weren't you telling me something?
I knew if I went back to work full time, I would be miserable.
Weren't you telling me something about your record charting in the UK?
Yes. So I was really excited about this thing because this was, that was my first song and that was my jam. I turned that up and just be driving. Well, it ain't even this thing. It's This Kind of Love, honey. Like that ballad done something to the people over in the UK. They really love it. They said that it's been a long time that they heard a song that sound like that. They said it remind them of kind of like old school soul. So they love it over there. And this past week, it charted #1 on the UK urban chart. So that was exciting. It was really exciting because, again, I wasn't expecting it. So it's being played over there. And the people in the UK are just great. They're just showing a lot of love and they're rooting for me, just like the people here are rooting for me. So it's exciting.
Tanqueray, what is your website if somebody wants to get in touch with you or book you or what?
Okay, so because my name is Tanqueray, it's named after the gin company, so I don't want to be sued because I don't have anything right now. So I had to kind of change some things, you know what I mean? Look, I don't got it right now. So I made sure that my logo was not like theirs. Like I had to make sure because I don't come for me, please don't, because I don't got nothing. They'll be very disappointed. I got a couple dolls that my daughter got. That's about it. And some light up sneakers. So so the website is mstqmusic.com. MSTQ, Miss TQ. So I'm in the military. And so I've been in the military now almost 18 years. So I got a couple more years to go. I'm in the reserves. And so one of my friends, she said, Tanqueray is too much to say. I'm going to start calling you TQ, TQ, TQ. So when I bought my first car, I had to get one of those personalized plates, So I put TQ, MSTQ. So that just kind of stuck. So I said, well, if I ever have a company, I'm going to name it Miss TQ. You know what I mean? So www.mstqmusic.com, and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I am MSTQ Music.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed speaking to you today.
Yes.
I was so moved. I had to compose myself, that you would take the time to come. I love it. I think you're talented. I'm so glad things are opening up for you. This record is just great. And good luck.
Thank you.
Don't go yet.
No, that's fine. And listen, and even when, my house is as big as City Hall, I will still come on your show. We can still have fun and just talk, but I'm gonna take you to lunch. So that's on me. So it's recorded. So. And I can tell that you want me to.
We're gonna go out.
I can see it in your eyes. They tell the truth. So we can dance all night. So we get it right. Never wanna stop.
That's the song.
You should hear my daughter singing it. She know all the words.
Does she sing like you? I mean, does she have those pipes that's starting to?
Yes, yes. And she reminds me so much of me. Like I could sing something, she repeats it instantly. She already knows keys and notes. Like it's just natural, just like it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She got it honest. Yep. And she's such an extrovert. Like she's very outgoing. So all she needs is a couple people. It's on. And people love her. Like I'm not even the star. She's the star. I put videos of her up on Facebook, you know, so they love her. They love her.
I have to go look for those Facebook postings of her. Well,
Yeah.
it's been nice,
Thank you for having me.
and I really would like to keep in touch.
Oh,
Just to
definitely.
see what's going on, when's the next album coming, what's the next big concert when this COVID stuff is all over with. So
And hopefully, I'll be able to come back on and we can talk about the album, once it's over.
yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is huge. People have been waiting for this for 6 years. So everybody's just so excited and they've been a part of the whole journey. So they've been a part of, I quit, I'm pregnant, I'm surviving. Now I'm on the charts. So everybody's been going through the journey. So they are like just so excited, for me. So I'm excited that they're excited. So everybody's coming in with me together. So I said, if I win a Grammy, it's over. The Philly gonna come out of me when I win that first Grammy, because every Philly is getting a shout out when I win that Grammy. I'm getting my speech ready. They might cut me off and play the music.
Okay. Bye, Tanqueray.
All right, have a good one.
You too. And thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I'll see you later.
Okay.